Oh.
So you got a bunch of women in these platonic friendships who are like, I'm not attracted to him. There's no way he's attracted to me.
Completely understand that one.
And the guys are like, oh, I'm attracted to her, and she's probably attracted to me too. So, so as a result, the men consistently overestimated the level of attraction felt by their female friends, and the women consistently underestimated the level of attraction felt by their male friends. Hey, welcome back to the Dating Detox Show, where we help you get healthy, date healthy, and build healthy relationships. If you have not downloaded the free Modern Daters Playbook, hit the link in the description area below. And today, guess what we're going to talk about? Can guys and girls be just friends?
Just friends.
Just friends.
Just friends.
Just friends.
Nothing more.
Do you think it's possible for guys and girls to be just friends? Yes, no, why?
I see it in two lenses. If a guy and a girl are friends within like community, sure. They're all kind of like, going to church together or just like a group of friends, sure. But I feel like there's going to always end up being somebody who likes somebody. Somebody's always going to catch that type of feelings. Mm-hmm. And if you're a guy who has like a bunch of girlfriends, I mean, it makes me wonder, one, did you sleep with them all already? Or are you gay? I mean, honestly.
So there's no in between. You're either gay or you hooked up with them all.
Yeah, either you're gay or you hooked up with them all. Or I don't know.
Do you have any friends that are guys?
I have like two, kind of. Yeah, like they're like brothers. Like one's like a brother to me.
Did you ever date either one of them?
No. Okay. And I actually had them on my like podcast when I did Single Season Uncensored. Mm-hmm. I invited both of them on it because I felt like they were sound good men with their heads on their shoulders, and they were never trying to like make a pass at me, so it wasn't ever awkward. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But no friends that are guys that used to be romantic.
Oh, absolutely not. Oh, no.
So is that a line for you?
Oh,
no. For either side? If it's a friend of the opposite sex, it has to be somebody where it's never been a romantic
100%.
involvement.
100%. Yeah. Because then it's just like, what if the feelings start to creep back up again, or you have past history? I just think it's too lurky. Yeah.
Too lurky. All right, so I'm going to read you. I recently read an article that had some research, so I'm going to read this to you, and then I just want to see your thoughts. So here's what they did. They did a scientific experiment.
Okay.
They was undergraduate, so it was at a university. They brought 88 pairs of opposite sex friends in who came in together. They're opposite sex friends who both said they're completely platonic. So there's never been a relationship. You and one of your guy friends both came in, 88 pairs of them.
Okay.
They separated them to make sure there was anonymity and they could get real results. They separated them, and they also said, when you leave here, you do not get to talk about any of the questions that were asked ever again. Like this, you're going to come in, you're going to answer them, you're going to leave. Of course, They probably didn't.
Of course.
But, so they asked both of them a series of questions about whether they had romantic feelings for their friend.
Okay.
So here's what the research said.
Let's hear.
So the results suggest large gender differences in how men and women experience opposite sex friendships.
Okay, let's hear it.
Men were much more attracted to their female friends than vice versa.
Yeah.
Men were also more likely than women to think that their opposite sex friends were attracted to them, a clearly misguided belief. So the guys were more attracted to the girls, and the guys also thought that the girls were more attracted to them than they really were.
Wow, big heads.
In fact, men's estimates of how attractive they were to their female friends had virtually nothing to do with how the women actually felt, and almost everything to do with how the men themselves felt. Basically, the males assumed that any romantic attraction they experienced was mutual. Like, if I like you and I'm attracted to you, then certainly
you're going to like it
it's
too.
the same thing back. Because, why wouldn't you? Right? Look at me is kind of what they thought. So,
yeah.
So anyway, they were blind to the actual level of romantic interest felt by their female friends. Women too were blind to the mindset of their opposite sex friends because females generally were not attracted to their male friends and they assumed the lack of attraction was mutual.
Oh.
So you got a bunch of women in these platonic friendships who are like, I'm not attracted to him. There's no way he's attracted to me.
Completely understand that one.
And the guys are like, oh, I'm attracted to her and she's probably attracted to me too. So, so as a result, the men consistently overestimated the level of attraction felt by their female friends, and the women consistently underestimated the level of attraction felt by their male friends.
Wow.
So, does that shed new light on your views on can men and women be friends? Because now you got to kind of wonder, all the guys that have female friends that are just platonic, do they really have romantic feelings? And do they think there's romantic feelings back?
I mean, I think that it's possible. I mean, some people say, like I've heard, oh, we've just been friends for so long. And then all of a sudden they're together. And it's like the best relationship ever because
they built
a friendship. Yeah. The relationship is built on a friendship. And that's what people always say, build your relationship on a friendship. But I think it is kind of tricky whenever, like, maybe like you're dating somebody, they're dating somebody, and like y'all are still friends, right? So like you talk about the relationships. I don't know.
So here's another study, just to further emphasize this fact. Another study that they did on like basically asking men about opposite sex friendships and what they thought. And so another study said men were significantly more likely to list romantic attraction as a benefit of the opposite sex friends. So when they asked, like, tell me about your opposite, what were the benefits? Men, younger men. So funny thing was younger men and older men, it increased. So when younger men were asked, hey, what's the benefit of your opposite sex friendships? 4 times more likely than the women to say it, they said, oh yeah, the romantic attraction is awesome. Like that's a benefit that I'm romantically attracted to my friend.
Wow.
Older men, they were 10 times more likely to say that than women. So then when you got older men, and we did a whole show on age gap, but when you got older men who have friends with opposite sex, they see the romantic attraction that they have towards the opposite sex friend as a benefit of that friendship.
I guess.
But not I guess, that's what the surveys, these are men reporting that. Like, I like it that it's a benefit that I'm attracted to my friend.
That they're pretty.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I think this also comes into play of, is this just like a married man who has friends that are
these were all
women?
single.
Oh, if they're single, then it's free game. If they're single, they can have as many female friends as they want. But you put a ring on some girl's finger.
So what about when you start dating the person?
I think that there needs to be... So here's an example. So I know a guy who has shared to a girl, like, hey, like, I'm talking to somebody, you know, I'm starting to get interested in somebody. And the girl was like, what? Like, the friend.
She thought she was the one, huh?
She became very offended.
Yeah.
Not happy about it. And literally he was like, what are you doing? Like, I've never touched you. I've never messed with you. Like, we've never had anything going on before. Like, why are you freaking out? He's like, because I thought we had something. And he's like, no. He's like, no, we didn't. Like, no, we haven't. Like, I've never given you that impression. And, you know, like, thankfully he was wise enough to cut that friendship out, because that would have just been like a constant like frustration, you know, and like, hey, like, you're not seeing this the right way. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe there's more, maybe we should give guys more credit then. Like, some guys maybe are more honorable or true. Like, I
don't know, after that blind survey, I don't know if I want to give guys more credit.
I mean, I think it just, I don't know. I definitely think a lot of men who have girlfriends, if they don't view them as like a little sister or use that terminology, I think it's a little different. Mm-hmm. Like, if they're calling them sister, I think that's different than calling them friend. If that makes sense.
I understand the categorization, yeah.
Yeah.
But now guys listening to this are like, oh, so I just got to use sister now, and then she won't catch on, right? That's what's going to happen.
I mean, I don't
'cause they're shady,
know.
so.
I don't know, guys.
So I've got some thought. Well, first, let me say this. So ladies, your guy friends, according to surveys, probably like you a little more than you know.
Probably.
And guys, your girlfriend that you think, and I say friend that's a girl.
Friend that's a
that
girl.
you think is attracted to you like you're attracted to her, she's not.
She's not.
So just so we got
She's
that
really
straight.
not.
She's really not. You're just a dude.
Or if she has like never dated anybody, then maybe you should think something different. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, so here's where, so generally I would say, yes, guys and girls can be friends. We should be able to be friends.
We should
be able
to be friends.
But I think for me there are two concerns, and maybe two problems. I think two reasons why this is harder than it should be.
Okay.
Number one, I think culturally we have over-sexualized everything.
Everything.
So we have come to a place where, so here's the reality. You cannot separate your sexuality from other people relationally. And when I say sexuality, I don't mean sex intercourse. Sexuality meaning our sexual desires and like our gender makeup, masculine and feminine.
Okay.
Like you and I are different because of how we're made.
Yes.
You can't remove that from that shows up in every relationship, every phone call you have, every game you play, every conversation you have.
Yeah.
Right now, our conversation, our gender is a part of the conversation.
Yes.
The masculine, the feminine, who we are, the differences. So you can't remove that.
Yeah.
The problem is, instead of acknowledging that and the fact that that's there, we've over-sexualized everything, right? If you think about the nuclear family is like God's design for us to learn how to relate gender relation.
Okay.
But we also are humans and have sexuality, right? So for instance, and this is going to seem weird until I turn the corner. So stay with me. Like in a
oh gosh, Eric.
No.
Okay.
Just think like in a family, dads, mothers, daughters, brothers, like it would, you can't say that well, it would not be abnormal for a dad or a brother to notice a daughter, sister's body and makeup.
Yeah, of course. Especially as she develops.
Yeah. I got 3 daughters. They look different in different stages. The problem is that because our culture has been so overly sexualized, when we see that, we have been trained to start using our mind to think sexually about that rather than see those differences as ways to intimately connect on a gender level, i.e. sexual abuse and incest in families and that kind of stuff.
That stuff happens.
Absolutely, it happens because we've been over-sexualized. So
unfortunately.
Now what happens is if a dad notices that or a brother notices that of a sister or daughter, instead of just acknowledging that I noticed that because I'm a sexual being, they're a sexual being,
act on it.
But also notice like there's boundaries and that's inappropriate and that's unhealthy and we don't do that kind of stuff. So instead I relate to you. I love my kids. I relate to them. I hug them. I love them.
Yeah.
But it's not something it's not erotic sexual
perverted
behavior. But because the world's been so over-sexualized, it's messed up that. So I think some people...
Yeah, perversion.
Some people don't even know. Like, I don't know how to recognize the fact that I saw somebody of the opposite sex in a sexual way and go, okay, well, that's like 20% visual and hormonal. I got 80% of my mind, will, and emotions of what I decide to do with that.
Okay.
So I think that's part of the problem. That I don't know if we know how because the world has over-sexualized everything. And you know, there's all kinds of porn, right? Stepmother porn and stepsister porn and and all kinds of stuff. So you got people who have seen that now have those images, right, of familial stuff.
That is disgusting.
Absolutely. So I think that's one problem.
People are so perverted.
Right. Okay. So that's one problem is the world, and I think the other problem now is the church.
Okay.
And I think the church does not know how to talk about these same topics in a healthy way.
Okay.
So instead, we don't talk about it,
and you split
we
boys
ignore
and girls.
It. We split boys and girls from middle school all the way through.
And then they don't even know how to interact.
They don't know how to interact.
The opportunities.
Same thing when you get the young adults ministry, and it's like nobody can date anybody, and we got to do stuff in groups, and you got to court, and you can't because we don't trust anybody to be able to hang out without falling into bed and having sex with each other.
That's true.
that's why I was encouraged when you told me for a season you co-led a small group.
Yeah, it was co-ed.
That was co-ed. I'm like, praise God. Yeah. Like finally we got guys and girls talking to each other and learning how to relate.
And it was great. Yeah. It was really good. I mean, mind you, of course, there was always heavier in women attendance.
Sure.
But we did have guys come
and you got different perspectives.
And I also joined another one that was a workout one. And it was led by a guy and a girl. And that had more guys because it was like working out. And I mean, I still see these brothers. Like, I see these guys at church. And I'm like, hey, like, I say, hey, like, we talk, like, and that is healthy. Nothing was impure. Nothing was wrong. It was just like we got to know each other. Were we attracted to each other? Absolutely not. You know,
there may have been some. The guys were, according to this thing, but the girls were. But again, you've given opportunities for people to learn how to relate together and guard each other's sexuality in a healthy way.
I wonder too, though, Eric. Like, I think, okay, so I know that I've had guys, and they'll, like, even my sweet cousin, like, he was so sweet. Like, he was taking some of my pictures for me, and I was like, oh my gosh, my hair. Like, I was kind of complaining. Mind you, he's 22 years old, and he's man of God. He loves the Lord. Like, he has his head on his shoulders. He's finishing up college. And he's like, Autumn, what you see about yourself is like not what everybody else sees. He's like, you're over here nitpicking on little things, but like people just see like, wow, this girl's really pretty, and like look at her pretty hair. And like that was just so sweet of him to like compliment me, to kind of like boost up my like.
And it wasn't romantic.
No, it wasn't gross at all. But I was like, oh, thanks, JC. You know, like I appreciated his sweetness to me, to just kind of like you're being hard on yourself. But just to give me that, like, you know, love and encouragement, and not in like a weird way. So what I was going to say, though, is I wonder how many of those guys say, like, sure, they're attracted to them because they're pretty. Like, maybe guys have friends who are pretty. Like, it's okay if you have a friend who's a pretty girl. Yeah. And to say, like, hey, like, you're beautiful and you're my friend.
They were asking romantic interest questions, not just do you think they are physically pretty, but yeah.
Because I could see that, like, I know even for me, like as a girl, all of my girlfriends are gorgeous. That doesn't mean I'm a lesbian. That doesn't mean I want to, change my way. But
because our world has been so over-sexualized, that is a lot of, especially women. I mean, it's almost kids. This is a whole different topic. I don't want to run down the path. No, we'll leave it alone. Yeah, kids these days are almost. You're weird if you're not at least bisexual at some point, because we are supposed to now take what would be a natural visual, they're attractive, and turn it into something
exploration.
Else. So those are two of the reasons I think that we don't know how to be opposite sex friends, because the world's over sexualized it, and the church is like, I don't know what to do with it. We don't want to have sex, so keep them apart instead of just going. This is what it is, and there's a like, for instance, your cousin, he's a guy, and his compliment, what he said to you, I'm sure girlfriends have said to you, but because he's a guy, it hits different. I don't care who it is. Like, if you
and he was behind the camera.
Yeah, if you compliment me on something and one of my dudes compliments me, it hits different. I don't care who you are. And so those are a couple concerns, and then I'll close with this. Then when I think we move towards marriage, like you said at the start, if you got a ring, that's a whole different thing.
They have to cut.
I think two concerns I would have for people that have lots of opposite sex best friends. One is it makes it easy to neglect building same-sex friendships, because those are sometimes harder, right? Especially if girls are honest with yourselves. Your little flirty stuff and the stuff that works with your guy friends, I don't work with your girlfriends. No. You can't use that game in the relational dynamic with your girlfriends. So it's easier for a lot of girls to have guy friends, because now that you know most of these guys are actually semi-romantically attracted to you, it creates a dynamic that is much more enjoyable than you having to navigate life with your girlfriends and vice versa. So I think having too much focus on opposite sex friendships can cause you to neglect it.
Agreed.
And then I fully believe, and I've done videos on this on my other YouTube channel, on just how opposite sex friendships can rob a marriage of emotional intimacy. So if I've got a great female friend, she's going to be an easier and safer space to go talk to a lot of times than my own spouse, because she's got no skin in the game. So like if I came to you and I was like, oh my gosh, I got a new idea, new business venture. I'm going to do like dog grooming for 3-legged dogs. There's a big market for it. And you'd be like, oh, that's so sweet. I can't believe you love dogs, Eric. That's amazing. And I'd be like, oh, you're so supportive. And I tell my wife, and she'd be like, and you're going to pay the mortgage with that? How?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, she's so critical. So
Yeah, she just doesn't support me.
she doesn't support me. She doesn't believe in me, right? So your opposite sex friends are always going to, I mean,
Hype
they
you
may
up.
push back now, but they're going to pump you up.
Yeah.
They got no skin in the game. You don't have the same tension in relationship.
true.
And so if I have that outlet, like I could go to work and talk to Susie at work all
That's why
day
they have
long.
like work wives and work husbands.
Yeah, and that's a whole different when you talk about infidelity. There's a book called Not Just Friends that Shirley Glass wrote on workplace infidelity, because men and women are in the workplace now together more than ever. That's where a lot of they're starting.
Oh,
but I think
agree.
I think opposite sex friendships can rob a marriage of necessary emotional
agree.
intimacy.
Dang.
So those are my thoughts on, can we be opposite sex friends?
I think that the boundaries need to be set very clearly in advance. And if both couples, like if both parties realize like, hey, I'm not into you, you're not into me, this is good. But if there's like an alternative motive? Motive, like maybe if I just be her friend long enough, then maybe she'll start to like me. Or vice versa. Maybe if I stick around and be like his, girl, the guy's girl, then maybe he'll start to like me. I mean, I think those are when those conversations were never had. You know, I think that's where it's lurky, it's murky, it's not clear. And I think that's when people get hurt.
Yeah.
So.
And every feeling you have does not have to be pursued.
No.
Like, dude, be normal. We're fine.
Yeah, but I do think that there needs to be boundaries, and especially in marriage. And to like meet the friends. Like if you have girlfriends, let your girlfriend meet your girlfriends. If you have guy friends, let your boyfriend meet your guy friends.
Yeah.
It's interesting how like we can call guy friends, but there's no other alternative name for like girlfriends.
Yeah. Woman friend.
I can say this is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
This is my boyfriend, and these are my guy friends. But what do guys say?
This is my girlfriend, and these are my lady friends.
These are my sisters. I think they say these are my sisters.
That's weird, because then I feel like you're trying too hard. These are my sisters. No, they're not. These are girls not related to you that are your friends.
Oh gosh.
It becomes hard. Anyway, now you know, guys. Your friend is a girl, don't like you think she does. And ladies, your guy that's a friend probably likes you more than you think he does. But we can be friends if we have healthy boundaries and we keep them. So that's all we got for today. If you haven't downloaded the free Modern Daters Playbook, grab that in the description area below, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.